Okay.
Alright.
So I am still trying to figure out my plans for this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I got recommended like about a month ago for this really
Yeah.
awesome job in San Francisco that I really wanted from someone who like knows me pretty well, knows them pretty well, was like, this will be a really good fit. And she sent in this email that I don't know what it said, but apparently it was really complimentary. And
Yeah.
they approached me and they were like, we really want to hire you as an intern for this summer. It was for this architecture firm.
Okay.
And they were like, we really, really want to hire you as an intern for the summer. You seem wonderful. Can you send us your resume and portfolio so we get a better idea of the kind of stuff you've been doing in school, and then we can talk logistics for the summer.
Yeah.
And this happened like over spring break. And so I was really, really excited because it was pretty like set in, like they seemed to be set in stone at that point.
Yeah.
They were like, we want to hire you. Can you send us your stuff to like figure out what we could have you do in the office? And I had to update my portfolio. My resume was okay, but I had to update my portfolio, which would like kind of take a while. And so I emailed them immediately and I said, can I get about a week to update stuff and take more pictures of this project I just finished? And then I got in the grunt and the grind of the quarter and didn't send it in for another like week after I said I would.
Okay. Yeah.
And in my head, I just kept putting it back because they had been like pretty concrete in what they had told me.
Yeah.
But it was this looming thing. So finally I just sat down and like spent a bunch of hours on it and finished. And I sent it to them. And then they got back to me immediately and they were like, this all looks really wonderful. This looks excellent. But I'm really, really sorry to tell you that like when we didn't hear back from you, we figured you had accepted a position elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
And like we gave the position to someone else.
Right.
It was really competitive. And like they were just so like apologetic. They were like, you were at the top of our list, but we just assumed that you were uninterested or something, which is so stupid on my part because I had been banking on this and not applying to other things. And so like I got offered this one thing in New York City that like would be really cool, except you lose money doing it.
Oh.
And so like it's not a job, it's like this architecture thing where like
is it sort of like an apprenticeship or something?
It's like a workshop residency thing. So like basically you have like a living stipend, but like you still have to pay to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So it's a really cool opportunity, but it's just like I don't have the money really.
Right.
And like I guess I could maybe dig it up somehow if that was my only option, but it's not. I'm not enthusiastic about it. And then I was like madly applying to all these other firms in San Francisco. And I got offered an interview at this really, really, really cool one that I'm super hyped about. And like I also know someone through someone, so it's kind of like you have your in.
Right.
And the guy emailed me directly, the head of the entire firm that has offices like all over the country, and he was like, he was like, yeah, bring me your portfolio and your resume and like whenever you can come to San Francisco. So he emailed me on Tuesday and I wanted to do it immediately because I really wanted to know what my options were.
Right.
So I said, I'll come up on Friday. I don't have class.
Yeah.
And I went, I brought my stuff. I have no gauge of how it went. Like, I know this is such a cliche problem, but like, I'm really nervous and I don't know whether I should be applying to other stuff still as madly as before. And he was like, I'll let you know soon. And there's definitely stuff that I like would be useful there for, but I'm kind of realizing that like the program here at Stanford is very different than most students who are looking for architecture jobs, like the programs they're in. And so like, I don't really know like if I have a good chance or if I don't, or if I should be confident or if I should not be, or like if I should be applying to other stuff or if I should like wait to hear back from him so I don't disappoint other people. And so, I mean, this just happened yesterday, and I sent him a follow-up email this morning as a thank you. So, like, I'm hoping that maybe his response to that will be, like, you got it or you didn't.
Yeah.
Because right now, I'm not super confident, but there's definitely a chance that I got it, but I'm not super confident.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just know. And I don't really, I don't know if I just need advice or I need to, like, calm down about it.
Well, first of all, like, seems like you're very, like, you are very good at what you do, considering like you've been like asked by like the head of the firm to like be working for you. So that's a plus for sure. And actually, I did have a similar experience with a job. Well, not sort of a job. Like I replied like they wanted me to reply in like 2 days, and I replied in 4 days, and they're like, yeah, we already gave it to someone else.
Doesn't it suck?
It does.
Like, is this how the real world works?
Like usually, like you'd expect like they would send you something before they gave it to someone else, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that's not how the real world works. So.
When also, like, the thing that was striking to me about this first one was, again, I totally accept responsibility for it because it was my fault and I was just really stupid. But, like, they had gone out of their way to be like, we haven't posted this position yet.
Yeah.
Like, we want to offer it to, like, it was as if they were kind of like holding it.
Yeah.
And so it made me feel that much stupider when they didn't hear back from me and went ahead and posted it and went ahead and filled it.
Right.
Because, like, I guess I had just gotten kind of cocky and, like, thought they would, like, check in or something because they had gone out so far already.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. And the guy was so nice and he was like, keep me updated on your studies. Like, maybe we'll be able to offer you an internship or a job in the future. Like, we really love what you're doing. But I was just like, but I don't have a job for the summer.
Yeah. It's definitely like, I don't know if it's just a Stanford thing, but you sort of like, it's normal to assume that people will like let you know before they do something.
I know.
Like, that's what I thought too.
I feel so. I need to like get out of that mindset.
Yeah.
It sounds so spoiled, and it is. But like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But like, I really like that you actually like. So the thing when I had my issue, like, I didn't reply for like 2 days, and then like I was like, oh, give me like a few extra days, and they got back to me and they're like, oh, we already gave it away. So like, definitely good that you like replied right away. That's something like that I learned from my experience. And in your case, I guess, so you're still like waiting to hear back from from San Francisco.
Yeah,
right?
I just interviewed like 24. Like our thing was at 1:00 yesterday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like I went up, I met, and it was cool because he was like, I normally don't do interviews, but like because you know Terry, like I really wanted to meet you. So it wasn't really a complimentary like you're a great architect thing. It was like, this is neat because we both have the same family friend kind of thing, who's also like an interior designer and knows me both like professionally and personally, which was cool because she wrote really nice stuff. But at the same time, like he admitted from the start he didn't normally do interviews. Yeah. And so when it was so unbelievably casual. Yeah. That I couldn't really get a gauge, like, if it was going really well or not. Because I was like, yeah, we had an hour of good conversation, but it was on and off about, like, relevant things and totally irrelevant things.
Like family stuff and then, like...
Yeah, and, like, he would, like, go... And he was super, super chill and really laid back and was basically like, yeah, like, when I was an undergrad, I took school way too seriously and, like, I went to grad school that, like, sometimes you can just, like, go to France for a couple weeks in the middle of the semester. And I was like, is this how you become famous? Like, and I was like, are you like thinking like, is this negative that I think of myself as a good student? Or like, what is the, like, where does this go? And like, he was really, really casual, really laid back. And then was like telling me like funny stories about like drinking and stuff, like through my family friends, like, oh yeah. And then like the son got really drunk at the Super Bowl party. And so, like, on one hand, I was like, I feel like I can have a little more personality with you. And, like, when I was sending him a follow-up email, I was, like, having my roommate help me write it. Yeah. Because it's, like, normally I'm a good writer, but, like, you're supposed to be really formal on these kind of things. Yeah. But also, like, it would be very weird to go from, like, a super fun, jokey, casual conversation to a, like, dear Mr. Da-da-da-da, like, I am truly pleased. And, like, so I guess I just, like, I don't have enough experience to, like, have a good or bad feeling, like know what a good or bad feeling is. Right. And like my gut feeling is that it didn't go well because just like in terms of the material we covered, like I don't feel like I'm at the point that I would need to be a really good candidate for that position, objectively speaking. Yeah. Or at least with what I presented to him. But I also am confident that like if he gave me a chance I could do a good job. Yeah. But I don't know if he's the kind of guy that just like gives you a chance. Right. So like I really just want him to reply to my email is the point of the story.
Right, okay.
But, yeah, I don't know. How did your job stuff work out?
So
or is it still...
Mine was basically just to, you know, before school starts, there's, like, international student orientation and, like, SPA and, like, a couple other programs, right? Yeah. So I applied to be, like, the ISO coordinator for international students.
This was for next year?
This was freshman year, so it was for this...
For your sophomore year.
Fall of 2012.
Okay.
And then so like I got the position, like interviewed, it went really well. I got the position, and they were like, "Yeah, let us know if you accept it." And I was like, "Okay, well, you know, I had a couple other options for like that chunk of time in September." So I was like, "Okay, I'll just like reply to them." Like I got it on a Thursday. I was like, "Okay, I'll reply to them on like Monday or something." And like I replied to them on Monday, or something like that, Monday. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we thought you'd reply by Friday, and we already gave it away." I was like, "What? that's not cool, guys." So.
Wait, that's awful that they already, like, officially offered it to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, the lesson of that story was basically, like, when you get an offer letter or anything, just, like, reply right away. Yeah. Which you seem to have done already.
That was when I talked to my mom about it, because my mom she wasn't angry. She was just like, "Anna, you're an idiot." Like, she was like, "Do not be asking me for money over the summer." Yeah. I was like, "I know, I'm just unemployed." Yeah. And, like, it was really funny because she was just like, when you get an opportunity, don't rest on it. You should pounce on it. Like,
oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Like, don't like especially when it's like something you got lucky in some way.
Yeah.
Like if it was really, really competitive, or like someone went out of their way to do something for you, like never rest on that and take it for granted. Like pounce on it even more so than when you would anything else. And I guess I was just stupid and like thought that because they were so enthusiastic about it that it was okay for me.
Right. It does give you like a bit of like a sense of like false sense of security. You're like, oh, they really want me. I guess I can, like take a few days or something.
And my first response to the first people, my first response was like, yes, I'm super interested. I'm super enthusiastic. Let me just get my stuff together.
Right.
Give me a few days. I have to round it all up. And so like they knew that it wasn't like I was like, oh, maybe. It was like, let's get through this formality.
Right.
And then we'll do it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just we have like
quick
3 minutes.
Oh, okay. Oh, is that it?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Oh, and then so like you were mentioning, like if you should like work as hard as you were like applying to jobs. I think that like how much like objectively, how much like time was it taking to like out of your like schoolwork and like social life to like do like the job applications? Because I feel like if it wasn't taking that much time, it's definitely worth it to apply.
Well, so this is the other thing that I'm learning, and I guess it's kind of hard to explain to someone outside of architecture, but like in architecture, they don't care about your grades and they don't really care about your resume. They care about your portfolio.
Okay, yeah. So I guess like for design.
Yeah, so they care about what kind of software, like especially as an intern, they care about what kind of softwares you know how to use and your portfolio. But the thing is, the Stanford program doesn't really cater to portfolios as much as it does engineering, like courses and like studio work and theory work. Like you take an art history and art theory class and you learn a lot, but you don't put it in your portfolio. And so like when I'm like, I have to find more of like a hook for getting positions than turning in a portfolio that isn't really representative of my education and like making myself a little more marketable than that. And so changing that around would take a whole lot of time. And so if I was really going to put my all into looking for these jobs, I would like learn from the things that I've like, for example, the interview I had yesterday, I learned a lot from this guy about what makes a good portfolio and what doesn't, and what someone in my position should do. So like changing all that around and working to all that would take a ton of time.
Okay. And
so that's why I'm like, right now I'm kind of like fiddling with it when I have free time while I'm waiting for this guy, because he said I would hear from him really soon.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming like beginning of next week.
Yeah.
So that's basically it. We'll see.
Well, definitely if you have time, like keep applying.
I don't know. It's just the kind of thing where it's like architecture is really, really like meritocratic in the sense that like it's so much about what you can do and not as much about who you know, because like if you have bad work or bad skills, you're just useless.
Right.
It's not like you can weasel your way in. It's just like you are not useful to an office.
Yeah.
And so like for someone like me who comes from a program like Stanford's, which is very, very weird in the architecture world, like it almost requires someone being like, no, I promise they're really great, because my portfolio doesn't reflect the same things that someone hiring you would expect.
Okay.
Not that it's bad, but we focus on very different things here than they normally judge you for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like, the sense I'm getting is that like the companies, a lot of architecture companies, they pretty much like decide like whether they should hire you or not based on your portfolio. Like that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like to some degree your skills, but like especially if you're an intern, it's eventually because they either like want to hire you or not, or they want to be like a part of your, because like in architecture your internship is a part of your education, kind of like your residency if you're a doctor.
Right.
So like if you're trying to be an intern, it's almost like an apprentice. Like they want to be a formative part of your education because they believe in you as a like young, hopeful, aspiring architect or whatever. And so like that's why you have to make a really good impression and not just be like, I'm good at computers and I'll do all your grunt work. Yeah. Because they don't really care about that, because like, you know, if you practice a lot, you can get it. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, it's probably time for us to.
Oh, we got 10 seconds.